Morning! It's Luce, here in my bathroom where I do my best thinking, some may say. So if you haven't watched my marketing videos part 1 and 2, I suggest you start with those. This is the third part, and marketing is a huge subject, and if I can get through this one without frying my own brain, it will be a miracle. So we covered brand book and knowing your purpose. We talked about the marketing mix and the 4 Ps, price, product, place and promotion, but we didn't get on to promotion because within promotion there are another 5 things, as if it wasn't complicated enough. So let's just try and unpick those a bit. Promotion. So yes, there are 5 elements to the promotional mix: advertising, PR, direct selling, sales promotions and direct marketing. These are all ways of communicating out your message. So we've already established, or by now, if you have a place where this exchange of value is going to take place, whether that's a shop, a website, or your Facebook page. And what that looks like, because you've done the exercise for your brand book, will be in representing whatever you've determined your brand to be, whether that's pink or a colour or a feeling. And you know, if I'm enthusiastic, then when you go to my website, or if I had a shop, there'd be some music that was playing that was sort of represent, you know, we've done that thinking. But you can have the most amazing shop in the world, you can have the most fabulous website, you can have you set up a Facebook business page, not a private one. I think the analytics that you can get from a business page are much better than just a normal, what you would use for personal tip. Yeah, you can have, it's entirely hopeless unless anyone can find it. So you're at a bit of a advantage if you have a shop, because it has a physical presence, people can see it. But if you have a website, there's no reason why anyone's going to go look for it. So you're going to have to tell people about your product, about your service, and accept that not everyone is going to need that product and service right there and then. So in terms of what you're promoting, there'll be a bit around brand, why people would want to shop with you, what you feel you represent, or what they feel you represent. We've talked about the motorbike brand, and if you need a motorbike, they all do the same thing. Why would you buy one over another? We've done that thinking, we've done through the brand book and what your intention is, what it exactly is your brand stands for, I guess, why people will feel affinity with it. But then there will be other people that are ready to buy your product there and then. You're new, they used to buy it from someone else, they're quite happily try you, maybe, need to give them a reason to. So we're going to need to do all part of those five elements of the promotional mix. So know who your customers are, what messages you need to tell them. If it's, oh, I've got a new shop, great, and oh, I've got this new product, right? Why should I buy it from you? This is all going to need thought. I saw on YouTube this morning, actually, and I haven't watched it yet, I'm going to go back in retrospect and have a look, but it was marketing strategy in 50 minutes. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, where I used to work, we would spend months building out a strategy. And once we had that, we had a media agency that would build out a media plan around it, a communications plan. You can do it in 50 minutes. Oh, everyone wants to do things so quickly. I saw an app the other day that said how to read books quicker. Oh, maybe I'm just a bit old, but in my mind, anything worth doing well is, it takes time. Anyway, rant over. So advertising, again, it's an exchange of value. You are paying someone for you to use their space to talk about whatever message you decide is right for the customers that you want to reach. Now, the cost of that space is generally proportionate to the amount of people that will see it. Unless it's online, in which case it's proportionate to the amount of people that want that space as well. It gets very competitive. So TV, and if you're a small business owner, advertising, honestly, there are other things that we can do. We're going to have to be much cleverer about it because you won't have the budget. TV has massive reach, it's very expensive, and you'd need a broadest message. You'll see a lot of brands, especially at Christmas, may you have noticed, don't even talk about the product. They have created these ads, some of them which will make you sob, and there's data which suggests that emotional messages resonate more strongly than those that are sort of more rational. If you're interested in the behavioural stuff around this, there's an excellent book called The Choice Factory by Richard Shotton. It will blow your mind. Us humans, we say one thing and then we go and do something else altogether. Anyway, I digress. So this exchange of value for space to put your message, TV, very broad reach. Bearing in mind, if you're a new company or small business, well, I'm not going to be able to afford it. Newspapers, again, will have a particular audience. Again, quite broad, unless you're finding specific titles around hobbies, maybe. If you've got a local newspaper, then you're potentially reaching a community. And let's assume for now that we're starting small. So I can't afford TV. Gone. I can't actually afford press advertising. So I'm going to have to be a bit clever about it. So let's just dip briefly then into PR. Because PR is the management of information between you and the public, which for the most part is communicated through media. So let's see if we can explain this. If you're a newspaper and you've got readers, you want to entertain them with stuff that they want to talk about. If it's a local newspaper in a community, then they're interested in local stuff that affects them. If you're a national newspaper, you're probably going to want to put something really punchy, really sensational on the front to attract interest. Now, to advertise in those spaces, yeah, I'm not saying it's expensive, it's probably more than your budget will allow. But with PR, if you can find, it's my beagle, Jeremy, probably barking at the postman, ignore him. If you can find an idea that you think will be of interest to the newspaper, because it will be of interest to the people, their readers, then you might find you can get space in their newspaper for free. It's called editorial. And there are all sorts of ways that you can go about this. You might have genuinely a new product that you phone up the paper and say, I'm launching this, it's amazing, your readers are going to love hearing about it. And they go, yes, great. Send us in a press release. And if you're good at grammar, great. And if you're not good at grammar and copywriting, that's difficult. Send us in a press release and we'll run that for you. And they may or they may not, there's no guarantee because you've not paid for it. You might find smarter ways to engage with the media and say, hey, I've got this new product or this new service. Why doesn't one of your journalists come down and I'll do the thing, you can experience it, and then you can write about it. So you're not having to write your own press release. The journalists can do, that's what they're trained to do. Write the thing and then put it out because it's of interest to their readers. That's quite clever. And that won't cost you anything. The other advantage to PR, or the difference between PR and advertising, is PR lends itself to credibility. If readers of a particular newspaper trust that newspaper, then what they see in it, there'll be assumed trust with whatever it is they're promoting, for the most part, versus an ad going, hey, I'm the most trusted provider of this. Okay, and so what? I don't want your product, I don't need it, Lots. So, advertising, PR. Direct marketing. Now, that's sending stuff personalised, communications personalised to a particular customer or potential customer. You can buy lists of people based on certain criteria that you can mail, providing they've given their approvals. But to be fair, you're not going to have the budget for that. Over time, you can build up a database of your own customers, and this is where I'm saying, know who your customers are and at what point in the journey they're at, because the messaging may be different. If you've had someone that's shopped with you and you've collected their email address, go check, there's a website for GDPR, the Global Data Governance, Data Protection basically, that was updated in May 2 years ago. There are a lot of rules around privacy and what you do with people's data. Go read it. We all have to be responsible for that. Having said that, if you have got people's permissions to message them as part of your clinical, or not even clinical, old job, as your duty of care for whatever service you've provided, or they've agreed for marketing comms, then you've already spent money advertising to these people. They've exchanged value with you. You can then maintain that dialogue, but you probably won't have that at the very beginning because you won't have had time to build up a database. So then there are sales promotions, which everyone's going to have a view on these. My personal view on sales promotions is, depends what the intention is. There's a danger that you can become so obsessed with sales promotions and driving short-term gain, short-term sales, profit, revenue, that you lose the sort of long-term goal for whatever it was you set out to achieve. Sales promotions, i.e. buy one get one free sale, buy one get two free, 50% off, £50 off, £100 off, buy this one and then we'll give you another, sales promotions. So these originally were used to, if you had stock of a product that was seasonal and that has a sort of life cycle, fashion for example, you get seasonality. One season you want to wear shorts and then it comes into winter and you want to wear jumpers, so you need room for your jumpers, so you discount your shorts to sell them to make room for your jumpers. Fine. But what that does over a period of time is your sales performance will start to create these peaks and troughs, because you'll have higher volume, you're selling more stuff. But what happens the next year is, oh gosh, well, the ideal trajectory for trading would be like this, smooth, just growing your business. But you need to get rid of more stock before Christmas, so then you see this peak, which was created from your sale. So then the next year you need to have, if you've got a percentage target, do even more in that particular week. A percentage on something big is even bigger. So then these little bumps in your seasonality trading suddenly start getting bigger. And certainly in companies, someone will say, oh, we've got this peak here. Well, why can't we have it there? Let's do a sale there and bring in more customers. Oh, but then the next year, and this is really evident in, Black Friday. So that appeared in November, pre-Christmas sales, which originally started after Christmas, usually on Boxing Day, and now you've got pre-Christmas ones. Then you have Black Friday, which then turned into Cyber Monday, and then, I don't know, whatever week it was. And then probably an August sale, a summer sale, a spring sale, and a New Year sale. So then all of a sudden these sales promotions, and you're having to come up with new ways of, discounting your stuff. What does that do to your brand? If you have a premium product, why would you want to discount it? Fair enough if you've got stock to shift, to bring in space for new things. But yeah, I'd be really, though in my opinion, that's something to watch. If you if you are confident in your product and your pricing, using sales promotions is just one for you to think about. Let's put it that way. So then the other one, direct selling. Now, direct selling makes me think of, you know, no, I can't use an example. Maybe back in the 80s, double glazing salesmen. All right, do you want to buy double glazing? And it's all a bit geezerish, and it's all a bit, you don't really need this, but I'm going to pressure you into buying it, and because that's not what marketing is. It's not about selling. We already established it's an exchange of value. But direct selling, in my mind, always I imagined it to be pushy sales. It's not like that at all. And if you're on your own, so here's a really good example, okay? And I'll use myself as a case study. Humour me for a moment, because I don't have the budgets for TV, I don't have the budgets for press, I don't have a PR agency, and I'm not keen on sales promotions because I have stood my ground. I'm confident in my product, so I don't want to use them. So then I was sat at home thinking, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Social media, and then my mind was blown on Facebook and YouTube and all of that. And then I listened to something on YouTube by Seth Godin, and he said, yeah, find your smallest audience. What is it you actually need? And this is where, again, you can go back to your brand book and your intention and your purpose. It's to spread joy through cake. Well, I didn't have any customers when I started, so a result would be another one. Really, another one. 2 would be nice, you know, 3, but there is time to grow. So I thought, well, you know, I can't reach loads and loads of people, but the reality is I only need to really find one. So, under the guise of some market research, which, by the way, if you're doing market research, well, actually, we'll talk about that another time. If you're doing market research, it needs to be robust, and it's not always true. We might come back to that story in a minute. Anyway, under the guise of market research, I got myself a clipboard. I wrote out a few questions about cake. I printed out some pictures which I'd laminated, and I took myself off into town at lunchtime and asked people, do you eat cake? Do you like cake? If you needed something for a special occasion, would you go to a cake maker? Would you take the time to do it yourself? And what out of this selection catches your eye? And they were like, oh, those are really good. And I was like, I was going to say, I know. Oh, I made them. Oh, right, okay. I said, yes, it's a new business. I've just started. Oh, okay, all right, thank you. And at that point, I didn't have any business cards either. Have you got business cards? No, I didn't even have that, but I needed something. That's okay. If you have you'll never get to the point of having a fully built out plan. And if you think about it, you'll end up with so much stuff that you just get stuck. So keep moving. In fact, there's a video about keeping moving. Just do something. Heard Seth, I was feeling paralysed, heard Seth, got up, did my market research. But yeah, that gave me this opportunity for a bit of direct selling. And I'm not going, come and buy my cakes. No, I was merely asking a few questions, which gave me a bit of insight. It's not robust, because I didn't ask enough people. But in the space of 2 hours, there were 100 people that I'd spoken to. So that's 100 people more that knew about my business than did before. Tick. And as it happened, one of them, and I knew this chap actually that stopped, and he said, he was with his friend, he said, oh, it's my 40th in a couple of weeks. And I was like, ah, right. Get in touch. Anyway, he did. So for those 2 hours, and I was out talking to people, I was showing them my stuff, and yeah, I found a customer. Didn't cost me anything, of the price of a clipboard. Yeah, it cost me my time, but at the moment, I didn't have any customers, so my time was, yeah, it didn't matter. So you remember what it is you need. If you only need one customer, go and find them. And as your business grows, you'll find ways that you need to reach more people. that does come at a price, and you'll have to weigh up what your priorities are. In terms of, once I'd established my visual identity and I had people ask for business cards. It's weird. It seems like a very antiquated thing given the fact that we're all on Facebook and whatnot now. But people do like to ask for business cards, so I don't have to think about it right now. But if I want your product at a later point, then I can go back. So yeah, direct selling. Yeah, it takes a bit of confidence. It's a very bizarre feeling being stood in town with a clipboard. And check with your local council. I phoned our local constables and just said, oh, I'm going to go and do this. Is that okay? And they're like, yeah, fine, carry on. You're not taking anything dangerous or, you know, just asking questions. So I'm stood there and I was like, oh, excuse me, can you... People were crossing the pavement to avoid me. I'm like, oh, gosh, don't take it personally. They're in a rush. It's a lunch hour. But some people, most people were happy to stop and talk. So it takes a little bit of, don't take it personally. We've all been there. People have been trying to hand us out flyers and we're like, oh, I don't want it. I'm not in the mood. I don't have time. That's okay. That's fine. But yeah, direct selling could be your biggest ally. PR, if you're clever about how you might engage with the media. Advertising, again, yeah, it's just... The only place potentially where you may have budget for is on social channels. And while we're at it, this is quite a big one. I wanted to do something that was simple, and already I've spoken for 20 minutes. 50 minutes on a marketing strategy. I don't think that's possible. But hopefully these things will give you some food for thought. I guess the takeout from all of this is, once you've got your brand book, your identity, you're confident in what your product is and is not, your place where you're going to exchange this value, whether it's a shop or your website, and it looks consistent because you've built out those rules for your brand identity. You know who your customers are, what messages you may need to tell them, and the channels that you have available to you. Go see what works. Social can be really overwhelming. Another overwhelming thing. There's a lot. There is. Remember your customer. This is not about you. I saw something on LinkedIn this morning actually, and it was like, look at our new office. Yeah, I don't work in it. What do you want? A medal? Oh, it sounds really, really flippant, but I'm not interested. So there is a danger, I guess. Here's another little snippet to think about. If you're running your own business, you'll get really excited and really passionate because it's your own. And when something good happens, you're like, oh, yes. And you want to tell everyone. No one cares. No one cares. Tell people about your successes if you want, your friends, in the pub or on your personal Facebook. Don't use your business one for it. No one's interested. And again, remember the difference between your personal account and your business account. When I created my Instagram, and here's another, oh crikey, oh you've set me off now. I got really excited at the beginning. I was like, oh, I've got a registered domain name. I started a Facebook business page. I had Instagram. I culled all my personal stuff and I renamed it Bait with Loose. And in hindsight, and now I discovered that the majority of people, the majority of my customers I interact with and come to me through Facebook. So did I need to spend a couple of £100 registering a domain name? And probably not. It's fine. It's there. I built out a page. It's taken me a year to get around to doing some more stuff. There are not many people that actually go to look for it because there's no reason to, because they all find me on Facebook because it's a local business. But my Instagram account, I stripped out all my personal stuff. No one's interested in seeing me go to the pub or parties or pictures of my dog. Unless you're creating a lifestyle brand, then that's what people are following you for. But yeah, it comes down to ego, I think. Maybe there's another video to do on this. I definitely learned when I started my business that I'm more than the things I have, because I couldn't afford to go and buy all the things that I thought I wanted or needed. Very quickly realised, actually, no, I don't need another pair of boots. I've got some. I don't need this designer thing because, you know, I've got that. It doesn't make me a better person. So be just mindful of the things that you're putting out there. Don't do it to show off. Your customers are not interested in that. Remember what's relevant to them and your business. Your personal stuff, keep it on your own Facebook page. But if you do set up Facebook, and this will have come from where are my customers, and I thought I found out very quickly, yeah, mine come to me through Facebook at the moment. So that's where I concentrate the majority of my comms. I do have an Instagram account, it ticks over, but it's so busy with content at the moment, and stories on Instagram seem to have really taken off, that no one even is liking or engaging. They're literally flicking and scrolling things through. I've tried looking at different hashtags, but here's the thing. My intention was to spread joy through cake. Instagram, it's got pretty pictures, content. It doesn't achieve that vision of bringing joy. Now, Instagram does have a younger demographic than Facebook, but the majority of my customers, the profile fits Facebook better. You need to look into all of these things. I'm merely giving you some food for thought, put it that way. But you can see from video 1, 2 and 3, there's a ridiculous amount. So don't be overwhelmed. Do the donkey work in the first place. But yeah, keep it simple. Remember your intention and what you actually need. Let me just give you this final story though about knowing your customer, because there is no right or wrong, and this will prove why. In the 70s or 80s, you have soft drinks, Coca-Cola or cola. You had Coca-Cola and Pepsi-Cola. Pepsi-Cola was number 2 in terms of market share, and Coke was number 1. So Pepsi came up with this really clever campaign, and where they stumbled upon this, I don't know how they found out. They would do this thing called the Pepsi Challenge. They'd go out to places with cups that were covered up, one with Coke and one with Pepsi, to see which one people actually preferred. Lo and behold, people like Pepsi. They like the taste of Pepsi better. So this whole Pepsi Challenge was like, oh my gosh, that's brilliant. Coke went, oh heck, hang on a minute. They actually prefer that product. So Coke, based on, and they did their own market research and found that, yeah, Pepsi was sweeter. People enjoyed the taste more. They changed their recipe and launched new Coke, which you'd think was a good idea. The market research showed that people liked the taste, this other sweeter version. Oh my goodness, everyone was up in arms. Coca-Cola to them was such an institution. How dare they change it? People then made a statement to say, I will not drink Coke anymore. What's this new Coke? So Coca-Cola went, oh my gosh, we've got it wrong. Had to then go back, but couldn't go back to old Coke, so they called it Original Coke. All based on market research. So if you're going to do, yeah, test and learn. I did something the other day that I thought was really clever, based on the Richard Shotton book, the behavioural economics thing, about creating a bit of intent. And I'd worked out, I'd looked at the census here and worked out on average there will be 180 birthdays a day. And I was like, that's loads. And I only need one or two or 3 or 4 in a week or whatever it was, not many. So I did this little video on my Facebook and I went, did you know there's only 180 birthdays in one day in Guernsey? There will be all sorts of other celebrations and there's only one of me. And I thought that would create people go, oh my gosh, well, we need her. No, I don't know what it is. Maybe people are just really disorganised. But I tried it and it didn't have the response that I'd expected. So, well, we'll try something else. But now you have some of the the frameworks to start thinking around. Anyway, I've rabbited on for ages. If there's anything in particular that you're interested and want to chat through, I mean, social could be one of them, but I guess these 3 vids are a sort of mini marketing basics, something to get you started, something to think about. And once you start, then it gets really exciting. Anyway, look, good luck. Oh God, I did a double thumbs up and I've just talked to someone that's not even there.